On this all-new episode of Nightlife, the Golden Knights are once again Pacific Division champions. We take a look back at the first-place clinching win against Nashville.
Back into the middle, Wall scores! Nick Wall, the give and go with number 14.
And we take a deep dive into the brand new VGK High School Hockey League.
Kids love hockey here. You see the sticking pucks out there. There's kids all over the place, so I think this makes it a good organized thing for a couple months in the summer to really get the kids to get better at hockey and really enjoy themselves, and again, kind of have that hometown feel.
Plus, Gary Lawless sets the stage for the playoffs.
32 NHL clubs plotting to be number one, but only one team wins the last game.
All of that and more this week on Nightlife.
Well, welcome into an all-new episode of Nightlife from beautiful Vancouver, where the Golden Knights wrapped up what was an incredible regular season. And once they clinched the playoffs a few weeks ago, there was only one thing left on the regular season wish list, a Pacific Division crown. And they had the opportunity to grab that when the Nashville Predators rolled into town. Mark, a chance to clinch the division tonight. How do you take advantage of the last regular season home game to make that happen?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you want to get it done when you can. Don't want to leave anything up to chance. So, try to get a big effort tonight. Good start, push them out of the game early, and hopefully just go from there.
Knights up to 105 points on the season. Good for first in the Pacific. As we're underway in the Fortress, and the Golden Knights with a regulation win would wrap up their fourth Pacific Division title in 8 years. Pearson into the offensive zone, has a little space, driving wide. Shea with an eye on him, finds McNabb around. Here's Howden, scores! Brett Howden goes upstairs to tie the game at 1.
Great play by Tanner Pearson. Little chip, no play, gets to it. Look at, drives everybody deep. 4 Predators, and a great play to McNabb, who makes a heads-up play to Howden. Howden, a quick release right over the left shoulder of Onanen. His 23rd. And the Golden Knights tie this game at 1.
Theodore down the boards for Waugh, trying to walk it into the slot, drops it for Kolasar. Back into the middle, Waugh scores! Nick Waugh, the give and go with number 14. And the Golden Knights with 2 goals a minute 34 apart.
Kolasar just throws us into traffic, and there's Waugh. Look at him take it off his skate, and he's able to chip that past the glove hand of Onanen.
Riley Smith on the boards. Short feed to Barbashev, back to Smith. Down low, Carlson to Holston, and scores! 3 unanswered for the Golden Knights. Here in the second on 4 shots.
Great play by Riley Smith off the wall. He gets some separation. Watch, there's 2 Predators. He's going to walk to the interior ice. Now it's a quick little 2-on-1 down low as he finds Carlson, who finds Holtz. And Alexander Holtz with the power play goal. And the Golden Knights grab the 3-1 lead.
McNabb tips it up, held in by Bunting. Evangelista trying to cut to the inside. Englund throws it towards the net, score! Delgado was down low, may have tipped it on a long-range wrist shot from the point from Englund. Stone feeds it across. Riley Smith, white cloud around, Hannafin lets it rip, score! Noah Hannafin with 1:55 left gives the Golden Knights the lead 4-3.
Stone just puts it to an area. They've been so good at putting pucks to open areas. Little over one-timer, and Onanen just loses this. There's no traffic in front. It might be his own defender that screens him, and Shea, as that goes glove side, and with a minute 55, the Golden Knights grab the 4-3 lead.
Marchessault, wrist shot blocked. Howden looking to clear it. Waugh has it, and he gets it out. Trickling into the Nashville zone. Barbershop for the empty netter. And wrap up the Pacific Division for the Golden Knights.
Time for our first break here on Nightlife. Coming up next, Darren Millard sits down with Darren Elliott to discuss the brand new Vegas Golden Knights High School Hockey League.
really excited to kind of have that high school feel, even though all the high school, there's not enough players by high school to have its own league yet, but one day.
Don't go anywhere. Nightlife on Scripps Sports. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to this regular season finale of Nightlife, where we all know hockey has reached new heights in the Las Vegas area since the Golden Knights came to town, and one of the more recent programs supported by the team is the Vegas Golden Knights High School Hockey League. And our very own Darren Millard and Darren Elliott sat down to talk it over.
What's your role in this?
To try to make it hockey affordable and keep it local. Really excited to kind of have that high school feel, even though all the high school, there's not enough players by high school to have its own league yet, but one day.
How is it different than what you're already doing?
It's different because it's based on area codes and zip codes, and the guy trying to get the players to be from an area to kind of build off the high school mindset. Kids don't sign up to practice hockey, they sign up to play hockey. So it's game heavy, and it's just competition for competition's sake, but with a lot of fun involved. Playing in front of your peers is so different, and we're hoping, to have that kind of be part of it, who comes to watch these games. So it's a starting point for sure. We're going to try to do a lot of different things, to have a game of the week that'll be streamed on the website, and real-time stats and all those kinds of things to try to make it a little bit fun, more fun or different and unique.
Where would you like to be in 5 years?
5 years, you hope that all these teams that we selected by zip codes and area codes are high schools. That the athletic directors get on board and say, yeah, let's do this and have the kids play from the school. As the numbers have grown, and then you start projecting out the ages where you had the biggest numbers, 5 years is a good landing spot for that.
And will it be spring, summer in 5 years? Or do you see a transition to a winter schedule?
I would love to see it get to a winter schedule, just because of the cost, right? And keeping it local. That we should be playing in the valley, against the valley as much as we can, and you have to create opportunities to compete locally, so you don't always have to travel to find better teams. Try to cultivate it here.
What's your schedule? Break down.
They're going to do like 12 games, 5 practices, but it'll be a weekly game and an every other week kind of practice.
What are you most excited about?
You're playing against teammates that you might play in other situations.
And creating a valley rivalry?
Absolutely. A valley presence first, and then the rivalries will grow to that.
That was good. That was good.
Time for a short break here on Nightlife. Coming up next, meet some of the coaches leading a few of the teams in the VGK HSHL. Don't touch that remote. Nightlife on Scripps Sports. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Nightlife, where, as you can see, the VGK HSHL, or the Vegas Golden Knights High School Hockey League, has taken the Valley by storm. The co-ed league has 8 teams, both major and minor, and Darren Millard sat down with some of the coaches to talk about the new opportunity.
You guys have all grown up playing hockey. Go down the line. Where did you play?
Played prep school in Connecticut, then played college hockey in upstate New York. It was like the whole school would be at your games, so we'd play a high school game on the weeknight and then travel hockey on the weekends.
I grew up playing hockey in Syracuse, New York. High school hockey was a big thing, even at the midget level. We start doing split seasons because even the better kids want to play high school hockey because they get fans at the games and you're playing for your high school, so it is a pretty cool thing.
I grew up small town Alberta playing hockey. Went away at 18 to play junior hockey.
What was your reaction when you heard about this project?
I love it. I mean, because like I said, I grew up playing high school hockey and travel hockey, and I think it's great for the community and just the growth of hockey in Vegas.
You know, I'm honored that I was one of the guys asked to coach one of these teams, you know, for the first season, and you know, hopefully we can all, you know, point it in the right direction, and you know, it continues to grow and flourish.
What were the tryouts like?
I thought it was a real good turnout for each area. We probably had to even cut some people from the minor team, so it was a really good show.
I had 17 kids I didn't have spots for. That's with minor team and a major team at 20 players each, so there's a real good turnout.
What was your talent level like?
It was pretty good. I mean, from the top, we had a couple AAA players out there, all the way from AA, A, down to B, so it's a mix of everybody, but top players were really good.
And it's co-ed?
Yeah, there's, I think I've got 2 girls that made my team. You know, they're obviously a little smaller, but there's no big body checks allowed, so they'll do all right.
Yeah, I have 3 girls, and they're some of my better players, so I'm excited for that part.
I have 3 girls as well, all defensemen. So.
You're starting from scratch here. How do you approach it?
Yeah, for me it's the first practice, just trying to get a little bit of structure, what your forecheck is, some defensive zone coverage, and then a lot of it's coaching on the bench and you know, developing a relationship with the kids.
I think a lot of the kids, at least on my team, you know, played a fairly high level of hockey, so I think they've had good coaching, they got an understanding of how to play the game the right way. You know, obviously keeping the puck out of your own net is key, and I'm lucky enough I got 2 good goaltenders, so.
Kids love hockey here. You see the sticking pucks out there. There's kids all over the place, so I think this makes it a good organized thing for a couple months in the summer to really get the kids to get better at hockey and really enjoy themselves, and again, kind of have that hometown feel.
It feels like that's what we're after here.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, for the inaugural season, I think that's the feel for it, that hometown feel, trying to get kids that go to school together, or at least in the proximity together, and start with fun and build it from there.
What's your team name and where's your jersey?
I am the Northman right here, the Viking. I love it. Centennial Northman.
Yeah, so I have the green one, the Shadow Mountain Ravens. I think it's the nicest jersey there, not being too biased.
I get the Black Mountain Miners, you know, the LA Laker colors, so maybe we'll be a little flashier than the rest.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, guys.
Time for our last break here on Nightlife. Coming up next, Dave, Shane, and Ashley break down the first-round matchup against the Minnesota Wild.
They've won 11 of 16 series since they've been in the league. There's teams that would give anything to have that, and you know they're sounding the horn here because they think that's a good omen going into the playoffs.
Stay with us. Nightlife on Scripps Sports will be back in a flash. Welcome back to Nightlife.
We all remember those final seconds. Dan Duva's words that will forever echo in our imaginations.
A devotion to destiny. Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup in 2023.
The players pouring onto the ice, forming a heart and celebrating the greatest joy in the game. Mark Stone lifting the Stanley Cup in Las Vegas and making this city a global champion.
Now the best team!
And it can't be all champagne and roses. The moments of devastation outweigh those of triumph. That's the nature of this beast we know simply as the playoffs. It's been 8 seasons in Vegas and 7 titles. 1 Stanley Cup, 2 Western Conference trophies, and 4 Pacific Division banners. Vegas isn't just a hockey town. It's a place where playoffs are a rite of spring. The expectation, from Bill Foley down to the youngest Golden Knights fan, is a championship. With George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon strategizing, Vegas has become one of the NHL's most feared organizations, a consistent contender. What Vegas has is what everyone else wants. 32 NHL clubs plotting to be number 1. But only one team wins the last game. Hearts soar at this time of year, and hearts break. Players, coaches, Management and fans go into this with their eyes wide open. The route is unknown, but the bumps in the road are guaranteed. We've been to double overtime together and won.
Second overtime. Barbaship with Hounded. Oh, and a tip puck and a shot. They score! A double overtime victory for the Golden Knights.
We've lost too.
Up ahead to Hurdle. Theodore back on him. Hurdle, a wrist shot, score! A short-handed goal in double overtime for Tomas Hurdle to win it for the Sharks.
The risk is ever present, but the highs surpass the valleys. There is nothing like that peak. And once a team and its city have scaled the mountain, they'll gamble it all again and again to get back on top. Players ignore broken bones. Coaches swill antacid. Fans chew their nails. Every series offers glory and elimination. Playoffs aren't for the faint of heart. If you want a smooth ride, go for a cruise. The playoffs take a jackhammer to your nerves. The pounding is relentless. There are no shortcuts. 4 best-of-7 rounds. The champion needs 16 wins to possess the Stanley Cup. Elite teams will be tossed aside. Giant killers will emerge. You have to sign a waiver before you board this ride. Accept the consequences, whatever they may be. But if you sign up now, you might get to see our town etched on the Stanley Cup come late June. If it's worth the risk, hop aboard. Let's see how far this ride takes us.
Playoff hockey in the Valley certainly has become a yearly tradition, and this year is no different. The Round 1 matchup is set, as the Golden Knights will take on the Minnesota Wild. Ashley, Dave, and Shane get you ready for puck drop before the chase for Lord Stanley gets underway.
Well, we are here in Vancouver, fresh off the news that the Golden Knights will in fact be facing the Minnesota Wild in Round 1. So brought in Dave Gosher, Shane Knighty, the dynamic duo, to get their initial reactions. No pressure, dynamic duo you are.
I don't know if I've heard that before.
Shane, what were your immediate reactions to finding out Minnesota Wild would be the opponent?
Well, I think when it came down, you kind of knew it was St. Louis or Minnesota, and I think you never want to kind of pick your poison. But Minnesota, I think either opponent, they kind of different challenges when you look at either of them. And for the Wild, this is a team that, credit to them, they've gotten into playoffs without some key guys. Kirill Kaprizov's been injured over half the season for him. He's back now, Joel Eriksson. To me, the Golden Knights, they match up good against anyone. So it's a matter now of their game. I think that's the focus Bruce Cassidy's kind of put forth, is them focusing on what they need to do to be successful, regardless of the opponent. And in my opinion, they should be fine.
What stands out to you about Minnesota, Dave?
Yeah, I kind of wonder what Shane wondered. You know, I think back to last year with the Golden Knights. They got everyone back together at the end.
Last season.
But it kind of was a little too late for that. But to your point, Shane, they did get back Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov late. Eriksson Ek had 4 goals in his first game back, right? They got Middleton back for the final game of the season. To their credit, they had these swings late. They lost 6 out of 7. It seemed like they might not get in. And then they win 4 of their final 5, and they win the last one in overtime in pretty dramatic fashion.
Shane, explain to me why the regular season series makes no difference when the puck drops on game 1. It was a good series for the Golden Knights.
Dave gets nuts because he loves to throw stats as a regular. I'm like, stats, everything wipes out. Their goal at the start of the year as a team is to get into playoffs. Because once you get in, and we've seen over the years, doesn't matter where you finish, everybody has a chance. It's hard to explain as a player, like the feeling you have, the emotion, the adrenaline for playoffs, because that's what you're playing for, the big prize at the end. All 16 teams feel they've gotten to this point. Now, what they do going forward is to win the Stanley Cup. That's all focus. Everything is poured into that thought. Every moment is magnified on the ice. That's what makes it so special. Every play, every little detail to the game is magnified in playoffs.
The other thing I thought of too, Ashley, and Shane, you would certainly be able to speak to this. I think once you have that feeling of winning it, you would do anything to win it again. And the Golden Knights still have a lot of guys around that went through that, obviously 2 years ago, but also some guys that won with some other teams too. So you know, there is that piece of the puzzle. They've won 11 of 16 series since they've been in the league. There's teams that would give anything to have that, and you know they're sounding the horn here because they think that's a good omen going into the playoffs. But they've had a good amount of success, big picture in the playoffs in the history of this organization. You know, last year was they weren't around too long in the playoffs, but their history has been they make longer runs, and hopefully they've got another long run in them. And the plane's about to depart here.
Before you guys go jump on a plane, fill in the blank for me. Vegas will beat Minnesota and advance past round one if
they play their game. To me, they're the better team. And I think the ability to play, and we heard it all year, win different ways, play different styles. I think Minnesota's going to play a physical style. They've got some guys in there, but I think the Golden Knights are fine if they play their game and ability to roll four lines. Their depth is their strength, and I think special teams are always a key in playoff series.
Yeah, I think if their depth shows through, right? I think what do they end with? 11 players with 10 goals or more. And you know, now they're kind of getting everyone back here late in the regular season. So I think their depth could be a problem for Minnesota. And one thing, Shane, to your point, they've never had a power play like they've had this year, and especially in the playoffs. You know, and the fact that, look, Aiden Hill jumped in 2 years ago in that Edmonton series and took him the rest of the way to win the Cup. Well, now he's got a chance right from the start in Game 1. He's obviously had a great year. Yeah, I think those things, the depth and their power play especially, has been so key for them this year, experience.
Well, excited to cover it with both of you, and I tried to tell you guys, dynamic duo. Well, that does it for this episode of Nightlife, and that means it's officially time for the puck to drop on the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoffs. We can't wait to watch the Golden Knights quest for the Cup, and we'll be with you every step of the way. We'll see you after round one, right here on Script Sports.